Okay, welcome back everybody. This is a fantastic dish for today, braised short rib Duchesse. I reckon this is the dish that bridges that gap between super classical and super up to date. It's long, slow, braised cookery that delivers in spades. Stick around, grab a cup of tea. This is going to be a winner. We've got some vegetables here, some carrots, some onions, some celery, some garlic, a little bouquet garni of rosemary and thyme. That's a double brown chicken stock. That's my wonderful red wine. And that's the secret to the whole dish. First job is to get this short rib cut into manageable pieces. You can see the bone runs there. And then we're just going to cut straight down the middle. Give ourselves a nice surface to be able to braise from. You can cook this in a whole sheet as well if you want. It's probably a bit easier. But actually, I'd like to cut it into pieces. Into the pan goes some oil. I don't bother seasoning these pieces here individually because it will just fall off. So pop the seasoning in the bottom there. In goes the short rib, and we're looking for really big colour here. Deep dark colour, that's what's going to give us all of the flavour at the end. And do excuse my voice, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat, a bit of a cold going on. But we'll push through and get this done for you. In that goes nice black pepper as well. Okay, Sam, if you come in here now, you can see, look at that sort of, that's the colour we're looking at that now. The Maillard effect. That beautiful caramelisation. Keep the pan constant, keep the heat in the pan all the way through. Lift that out. It's not hot, I promise. Oh. There we go, there we go. That's what we're looking for, nice colour all round. When you're colouring that now, you're kind of imparting flavour that's going to bleed out into the stock after. There's not, I'm going to brown that all the way around. So it's not really about, you know, what that's going to bring to the plate at the other end. It's more about the browning now that's going to bleed out into the stock and give us that much more powerful braise. So take your time with this browning part here. It's really important. There we go. So what we've got here is very simple and not too small. Look, big pieces of carrot and celery and onion. Because ultimately, look at the size of those. That's going to take 2.5 hours to braise. In 2.5 hours, that's going to be just nicely cooked, giving out all of its flavour. If you cut that smaller, it's just going to go into puree. It'll stew. You don't want that. So nice big piece of veg. Bit of garlic in there as well. Whoop. And we've got thyme, we've got rosemary, and this is the secret weapon again. This is a star anise. Star anise and braised beef is a beautiful combination. Use it all the time with braised beef, ox cheeks, all that kind of stuff. Loves it. Oxtail. Oh. Okay, so let's lift those out now. Nicely browned ribs. Beef short ribs used to be super cheap. Now they are not cheap, but they do yield huge amounts of flavour and they give a lot of food as well. Not a braised. I used to do this wonderful dish at Trinity where we did a cottage pie. This is going back 15 years ago. Look, all that lovely brown beef juices, the beef fat is in there as well. That's what we're going to start to build our layers of flavour for this braise. So in goes the veggies and the fat. Into the fat, in goes the thyme and rosemary, star anise in there as well. Look at that guy. And we get nice. I like lots of veggies in there. Not too many that you can't brown them though. You need to make sure you brown them. So that's probably enough there. The carrots bring in sweetness, the onions bring in acidity, the celery's bringing softness, and the garlic's just doing its thing. Look, let the garlic sit on the floor of the pan so we get nice brown garlic. It's all happening. It's all happening here, Sam. Beautiful. Whoop. I used to do this dish at Trinity. I used to do a little cottage pie 15 years ago in the tasting menu, and short rib, carrots, potato on top, and that's exactly where this dish came from. And when we've grown as a restaurant, we've kind of managed to accumulate all those flavours, refine them, make something a bit more special, and what you'll see today is basically 15 years evolution of that exact dish now turned into what I think is a very, very archetypical Michelin-Starred dish. Look at that. You need that for the pickup. What's going in there now is my back in with those short ribs. I'm going to put them upside down like that. I like to do the wine reduction when I'm in the pan like this. I think it's really important. So get the beef in, and ox cheeks, ox tail, whatever it is, get it in, and then get your wine, your vinegar, whatever you're doing, and reduce it with the meat in there. I prefer it that way around. I don't know if that's correct or not. It's correct for me, so that will bloody well do. Right, in that goes, looking good. In we're going to go with some red wine. It's wine I would drink. Big wine. This is Bordeaux wine. It's our Trinity Pauillac that I'm going to use. It deserves a good wine. Would I drink this wine? Absolutely. I drink it all the time. So in goes the wine. Plenty of wine in there. Right, we need to reduce that wine all the way down so it's nice and sticky, and then we're going to go in with the stock. So check back in. Right, like everything braised like this, we need a nice cartouche on top. Always cook with cartouches. Allows for evaporation. Gives us a lid. Gives us a bit of control on there as well. Is that going to fit the exact size of the pan? We've got some double brown chicken stock here. You can use the stock cube and water, it's fine. There's so much flavour going to come out of that, but if you want a really rich, robust sauce, you need a really good stock. That's a good chicken stock. I wouldn't use beef stock. Weirdly enough, it would be too strong. And the whole thing will end up quite sort of gelatinous and thick and rich, and you don't want that. Note how much stock I'm putting in. These are not being submerged. We're not trying to boil them in the oven. We're pot braising these short ribs, and that's critical. So they are not submerged. And the reason they're upside down, the bone is sticking out. We don't need to cook the bone. We do need to cook the meat underneath. Now, did he cut that cartouche to the right size? Yeah, he did. Right, I'm going to put a spoon on top like that. That holds that down in my fan oven. There's a little tip from the top, you can have that one for free. That's going in the oven. It's going to see a 160 oven for 2 hours and 15 minutes. See you then. Yeah. Okay, so that braise has had 2.5 hours in the oven. It's come out, we've rested it overnight, ideally, in the fridge. Lift out the whole chunks of the short rib, remove the bone from them, reduce the liquid down minus the vegetables to a lovely glaze, and then you're ready to finish the dish. And this is how we do it. So what we've done now is taken those lovely ribs. I'm just going to tighten them up a little bit so they're a little bit sharper. And all this trimming is going in to a dish upstairs, so we're very happy with that. I'm going to make a little short rib cottage pie upstairs, I think. So no wastage going on there. Right, let's have them all the same size-ish, and all this trimming is no problem for us. You can use all of that, and you could use it in a lovely shepherd's pie too. But this is a really good dish for your dinner parties at home. You can prepare it completely before your guests arrive and have it all ready to go. Just needs about another 8 minutes in the oven to glaze up and be nice. Trimmings back on there, cottage pie fodder there, no problem. Right, that's the braising liquor that we produced from the braising of all those lovely ribs. That goes into a cold pan, like so, quite a lot of it. What I'm going to do is just take these short ribs like that. In here I've got pomme duchesse, so that's mashed potatoes that's been elevated with more butter and a little bit of parmesan cheese and egg yolk. What we're going to do is just pipe onto there. Stand that in there like that. And what's going to happen is That potato is going to gratinate. The beef's going to rehydrate and glaze up at the same time. And this is just a real showstopper. When we do this in the restaurant, we sometimes put a lovely glazed carrot underneath the potato as well, just to give us a nice finish. But I'm going to serve it on the side for this one for you. So pop that in there. I like to give that a little bit of black pepper as well. This is a little bit of just brown chicken stock. It's to let that down because I kind of want that sauce to end up being that thick at the end. So if I add the stock now, by the time I've had reduction, I'm going to end up back at that stock at the other side. That's kind of why. That's going to get a little bit of butter as well inside the stock, and a little bit of butter on each one. A little bit of black pepper. And if you're making a dinner party for friends, if you're in a lovely restaurant and you want to get yourself set for service, you can sit ready for service just like that. To be honest, you could stand there and look at that all day. It's bloody beautiful. That's going in the oven for 9 minutes at 220.
Yes.
Okay, so those short ribs have had about 14 minutes in the oven. If you've got a dinner party with some nice friends, be careful when you cook this one, because if you cook this once, they'll want it again. Very simple. Fridge to oven, 14 minutes. Nice glazy sauce in the bottom. Just giving a little brush of melted butter. Any crispy potato loves a bit of melted butter. That's it. We're going to plate that up. I've made some carrots, those glacé carrots that you've seen me do before. And we're just going to add the carrots to the plate with the short rib and the sauce there. Simple as that. There we go. So that is my way of bridging that gap between super classical pomme duchesse and what's very modern now, which is a braised short rib. And I think that's absolutely bloody delicious. Oh. That star anise is an absolute winner. Short ribs are just so rich and indulgent. And look how giving that meat is as well. The meat's so giving, and with the potato it just makes it really unctuous and yummy. And the team can have that, can't they? So there we go. That is my braised short rib duchesse. A few glazed carrots on there. I've also done it on this platter as well, to show how it can be done and just put in the middle of the table. If you don't want to do all that plating up stuff for your dinner party at home, just pop it in the centre and the guests can then lift it off. But be warned, if you cook this for your guests once, they're coming back. Enjoy.
That's really yummy.
I mean, it's definitely not 11:15 food, but